Hi, I'm Reese. Most people know me as the CEO of Horizon Technologies, but to my friends, I'm just a guy who works too much and drinks too much coffee. My office sits on the 92nd floor with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. That's where I was when my phone buzzed with a message that would turn my carefully constructed world upside down. "Mr. Morgan, your 10 o'clock is here," said Valerie, my executive assistant, as she knocked on the glass door. "Thanks, Val. Send them in," I replied, sliding my phone into my pocket. "And could you grab me another coffee?" Valerie raised an eyebrow. "That would be your fourth cup, and it's not even noon. Is that judgment I hear in your voice?" I smiled. "Concern, Mr. Morgan. There's a difference." She stepped aside to let in Marcus Chen, my CFO and oldest friend. Marcus strode in carrying a tablet. "Morning, Reese. Ready to discuss the Westbrook acquisition?" "As ready as I'll ever be," I said, gesturing to the chair across from my desk. We dove into financials, but halfway through, my phone buzzed again. I glanced down, intending to ignore it, but the name caught my attention. Eliza. "Something wrong?" Marcus asked, noticing my expression. "It's Eliza," I said. My ex-wife's name tasted bitter on my tongue. We haven't spoken since the divorce finalized 6 months ago. "And she's reaching out now? That's strange timing with the company going public next month." I shrugged. "Maybe she heard about the IPO and wants to congratulate me." Marcus laughed. "Reese, the woman took you for everything she could in the divorce. I doubt she's sending good wishes." "Fair point." I opened the message. Marcus leaned forward. "What does she want?" "Money," I said, my voice flat. "For baby formula." "Baby formula?" Marcus's confusion mirrored my own. "You don't have kids." "Exactly." I showed him the message. "Need money for baby formula. Your son is hungry. Please help." Marcus whistled low. "This has to be a mistake." "Or a trap," I said, just as Valerie returned with my coffee. "Sorry to interrupt, but Diane from Legal is on line 1, says it's urgent." I picked up the phone. "Diane, what's going on?" "Reese, have you seen the tabloids this morning?" Diane asked, her voice tense. "No, why?" "There's a story breaking about you having a secret child with Eliza that you've abandoned. It's already trending online." As Diane spoke, a notification appeared on my screen. It was an email from my mother. "Is it true? Do I have a grandchild you haven't told me about?" "Reese?" Marcus said, watching my face. "It seems," I said slowly, setting down my coffee, "that my ex-wife has decided to declare war." "This is ridiculous," I said, pacing my office where Diane had joined Marcus and me. "We never had children. The divorce agreement specifically addressed that." Diane nodded, scrolling through her tablet. "The tabloid quotes sources close to Eliza claiming you've known about the baby for months and refused to provide support." "Can we sue for defamation?" I asked. "We can, but first we need to understand what we're dealing with." Diane looked up. "Have you had any contact with Eliza before today?" "None. We agreed to clean separation." My phone rang. It was Sam, my younger brother. "Reese, is it true? Do I have a nephew?" Sam asked immediately. "No, Sam, it's not true. Eliza and I never had children. But she posted photos on Instagram. The baby looks just like you, man." "What photos?" I switched to speaker so Diane and Marcus could hear. "She's got this whole story about how you abandoned them when the baby was born. Everyone's talking about it. Even Mom called me." Marcus was already pulling up Instagram on his tablet. "Found it. She's created a whole narrative, Reese. Look." The profile showed Eliza holding a baby with dark hair. The caption read, 3 months old today. Wish his father cared enough to meet him." "That's impossible," I said. "We've been divorced for 6 months, separated for almost a year before that." "The timing works," Diane pointed out. "If she was pregnant during the divorce, she wasn't," I insisted. "We hadn't been together for months before separation." "Could the child be someone else's?" Marcus asked. "Maybe," I said. "But why claim it's mine?" "The IPO," Diane and Marcus said simultaneously. "Your reputation affects company valuation," Diane explained. "If investors think you're abandoning your own child, they'll question my character," I finished, "and the stock price will suffer." My phone buzzed with another message from Eliza. "We need to talk. The baby needs diapers and formula. I'm struggling." "Don't respond," Diane warned. "Not until we have a strategy." The office door opened, and Valerie stepped in with my sister-in-law, Mia. "I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan, but Miss Rodriguez insisted on seeing you." "It's fine, Val," I said, surprised. "Mia, what are you doing here?" Mia's expression was thunderous. "How could you, Reese? I've been defending you for months, saying Eliza was exaggerating about how cold you were. But this, Abandoning your own child? Mia, it's not true, I said firmly. There is no child, not mine anyway. So you're calling Eliza a liar? I just had lunch with her last week. I saw the baby. You're still friends with Eliza? Sam had never mentioned this. Someone had to support her after you cut her off completely. Mia snapped. Marcus intervened. Mia, has Eliza ever explicitly told you the baby is Reese's? Mia hesitated. Well, not in those exact words. But she named him Morgan. Who else's would it be? Morgan is her maiden name, I pointed out. She chose to reclaim it after the divorce. Oh, Mia looked less certain. But the timing. We need evidence, Diane interjected. Birth certificate, paternity test. I have an idea, said Marcus. Mia, could you arrange another lunch with Eliza? Get her talking about the baby, record it if possible. I don't know. Mia looked uncomfortable. Please, I said. If I really abandon my child, I deserve whatever's coming. But if she's lying, which she is, Marcus added, then she's using an innocent child in a scheme to damage me. That's unacceptable. Mia nodded slowly. All right, I'll help. 3 days later, I stood in my kitchen as Marcus played the recording Mia had made. Eliza's voice was clear. The IPO is going to make him even richer. He owes us. Mia. But is Morgan really his? You never actually said. A pause. Then Eliza. Does it matter? Everyone believes it. His mom's been calling me. His investors are nervous. He'll pay to make this go away. I gripped the counter. She admitted it. Not explicitly, Diane cautioned, but it's damning. I want to confront her, I said, today. Are you sure that's wise? Diane asked. I need to see her face when I play this recording. 2 hours later, I sat at a quiet table in the back of an upscale restaurant. Eliza entered, looking exactly as I remembered, elegant, composed, and calculating. Reese, she said, sliding into the seat opposite me. I'm surprised you wanted to meet in public. I thought witnesses might be prudent, I replied coolly. Witnesses? Don't be dramatic. She reached for the water glass. Have you thought about my request? For baby formula money? Yes, I've thought about it. I've also thought about the tabloid stories, the Instagram posts, and the calls from my family. Eliza shrugged. The truth was bound to come out eventually. The truth, I repeated. Let's discuss that. I placed my phone on the table between us and pressed play. Eliza's face transformed as her own voice filled the air between us, admitting to her scheme. When the recording ended, she laughed nervously. That's not what I meant. You're taking it out of context. What context am I missing, Eliza? The part where you fabricated a child to extort money from me? You left me with nothing, she hissed, leaning forward. 18 months of marriage, and all I got was a pittance compared to what you're worth. You signed the agreement. Your lawyer advised against it, but you were in a hurry to finalize things. Why was that, Eliza? Was it because of Bradley and marketing? Her eyes widened. How did you? I didn't, until now. I smiled thinly. The divorce settlement was generous by any standard, but it wasn't enough, was it? Not when you heard about the IPO. You would have had none of this without me, she insisted. I supported you when Horizon was just a startup in your garage. For 6 months, before you decided my college roommate was a better prospect. I made a mistake, she said, her voice softening. I've regretted it every day. The baby, it was a desperate attempt to reconnect with you. By lying? By damaging my reputation and using a child? Whose is it, by the way? She looked away. My sister's. She's letting me borrow him for photos. The admission stunned me into momentary silence. Reese, I'm sorry. Eliza reached for my hand. I was desperate and stupid. We can fix this. I'll retract everything. Say it was a misunderstanding. It's too late for that, I said, pulling my hand away. The damage is done. What are you going to do? Fear flickered in her eyes. What you should have expected, I answered, as Diane approached our table with 2 men in suits. Miss Bryant and Mr. Torres are from the SEC. They're very interested in the timing of your social media campaign in relation to our IPO filing. Eliza stood abruptly. You can't prove anything. Stock manipulation is a federal offense, Eliza, Diane said calmly, as is extortion. This is ridiculous. I'll deny everything. Eliza's voice rose, drawing attention from nearby tables. Like you denied having my child? I asked quietly. The same child you've been posting about for weeks? The SEC takes a dim view of deliberate attempts to manipulate stock prices. You bastard, she snarled, grabbing her water glass and throwing the contents in my face. As I wiped water from my eyes, she grabbed my phone from the table and smashed it on the floor. I should have left you in that garage, she shouted. The restaurant had gone silent. Everyone was watching as the maitre d' approached. "Ma'am, I need to ask you to leave." "Fine." She grabbed her purse. "This isn't over, Reese." "Actually," said one of the SEC investigators, "I think it is." "The restraining order has been granted," Diane informed me 2 weeks later as we sat in my office. "Eliza can't come within 500 feet of you, your home, or any Horizon facility." "And the SEC investigation?" I asked. "Ongoing, but the evidence is strong. Her posts were timed perfectly to impact stock valuation pre-IPO. The text asking for money complete the extortion case." Marcus entered with Sam and Mia. "The board meeting went well," Marcus announced. "They're satisfied with how we handled the situation. The IPO timeline remains unchanged." "That's good news," I said, feeling relief for the first time in weeks. "How are you holding up?" Sam asked, dropping into a chair. "Better now. The tabloids have moved on to the next scandal." "And Mom finally believes you," Mia added, "though she's a little disappointed about the non-existent grandchild." I laughed. "One crisis at a time, please." My phone rang, an unfamiliar number. "Mr. Morgan?" a female voice asked when I answered. "This is Officer Patel from the county courthouse. Eliza Harrington is here attempting to file an emergency petition regarding visitation rights for a minor child she claims is yours." I sighed, putting the call on speaker. "Officer Patel, there is no child. Miss Harrington has admitted this in recorded conversations. We have a restraining order in place." "Yes, we verified that. She's becoming disruptive. Would you be willing to make a statement?" "I'll do better than that," Diane said. "I'll be there in 20 minutes with documentation." After Diane left, Marcus shook his head. "She's not giving up." "She will," I said, "eventually." My phone buzzed with a text. "Reese, please, I need to talk to you. One last time, I'm sorry for everything." "Eliza." "Don't respond," Mia advised, reading over my shoulder. "I wasn't planning to." 3 days later, I sat in a conference room with Diane as Eliza and her lawyer entered. She looked different, disheveled, eyes red-rimmed. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting," her lawyer began. "Let's be clear," Diane interrupted. "We're here because Miss Harrington violated the restraining order 3 times in 1 week. This is her opportunity to understand the consequences if it happens again." "I understand," Eliza said quietly. "Reese, I wanted to apologize in person. What I did was inexcusable." I remained silent. "I've issued public retractions on all platforms. I've told everyone the truth, that we never had a child together, that I invented the story." "Why?" I finally asked. "Was it really just about money?" She looked down. "At first. Then it became about hurting you. You moved on so easily after our divorce." "I moved on because I had to," I replied. "You were already gone long before you left." "I know." She wiped a tear. "Can we start over, as friends?" "No," I said simply, "we can't." "Reese, the damage you tried to cause wasn't just to me, but to thousands of employees whose livelihoods depend on Horizon's success. You were willing to hurt all of them to get what you wanted." I wasn't thinking clearly. "That's not an excuse. It's a pattern." I stood. "I wish you well, Eliza, but from a distance. The legally mandated 500 feet, to be precise." "The SEC is still pursuing charges," Diane added. "Mr. Morgan has declined to add personal charges, but that could change if the restraining order is violated again." As they left, Marcus and Sam entered. "How did it go?" Sam asked. "As expected," I replied. "She wanted forgiveness." "And?" "Some things don't deserve forgiveness," I said, gathering my papers. "Some lessons have to be learned the hard way." Later that evening, I stood on my balcony with Marcus, Sam, Mia, and Valerie, watching the sunset. "To new beginnings," Marcus said, raising his glass. "The IPO is set for next month." "And Eliza?" Mia asked. "Facing federal charges," Valerie reported. "The evidence was overwhelming." "I still can't believe she went that far," Sam said, "using a child in her scheme." "People will surprise you," I replied, "sometimes by how far they'll fall, other times by how well they catch you when you're falling." "Speaking of surprises," Marcus said, "the board voted unanimously to promote Valerie to COO." Valerie blushed as we all congratulated her. "To Valerie," I said, raising my glass, "for keeping me sane through all of this. And to lessons learned," she added, "like making sure your ex-wife doesn't have your new phone number." We laughed as the city lights began to twinkle below us. "So," Mia asked, "what's next for the newly vindicated billionaire CEO?" I smiled. "I'm thinking it's time to focus less on revenge and more on legacy. After all, isn't the best revenge just living well?" "With friends like these," Sam said, I'd say you're already winning. Have you ever faced betrayal from someone you once trusted? How did you handle it? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.